Video 5, take 500, perceived relational stability and on-again, off-again relationships. This is my literature review. Relationships are traditionally defined as either terminated or together. Therefore, on and off relationships do not fit into either of these categories, and they tend to have more uncertainty about their relationship status. This will be focusing on perceived relational stability. It's more difficult to establish a final outcome in on and off relationships due to their cyclical natures. Perceiving fluctuations in partners' commitment predicts whether or not a relationship will dissolve. Those with more future plans are less willing to let a relationship go, and a perceived resolvability of a serial argument is positively linked to relational quality. Individuals can elicit behaviors from their partner based on either positive or negative expectations. And this is all true for terminated or traditional relationships. However, that's why we want to look into it in on and off relationships to see if we could apply this and find the same trajectory. So they're using the investment model for one of their hypotheses, saying that the individual satisfaction, quality of alternatives, and investments predicts their relational commitment. That's hypothesis 1. Hypothesis 2 would be the cycling group will report greater relational maintenance than the dissolved group, but less relational maintenance than the stable group. The third hypothesis is relational uncertainty will differentiate the perceived stability groups in that the cycling groups will report greater relational uncertainty than the other two groups. Hypothesis 4, communication aggression distinguishes the 3 stability groups such that cycling group will report more aggression and conflict ineffectiveness than the stable group, but less than the dissolved group. Hypothesis 5, conflict ineffectiveness distinguishes the 3 stability groups such that the cycling group will report more aggression and conflict ineffectiveness than the stable group, but less than the dissolved group. Hypothesis 6, the continued cycling group is hypothesized to report greater lingering feelings than the dissolved group. 7, those who perceive their relationship as likely to continue are less likely to let go of the relationship. And hypothesis 8, the cycling group is hypothesized to report greater overall relationship improvement, but the dissolved group but less improvement than the stable group. This is the methodology. There is 177 participants in or previously in an on and off relationship. The survey was posted on Amazon.com, Mechanical Turk's website, which is a website intended for people to do tasks and make small amounts of money. So the qualifications to be inside this study was you had to be in or have been in a on and off relationship in the past. An on and off relationship is defined as a relationship that has broken up and renewed at least one time. The second qualification would be having experienced their most recent breakup or renewal within the past 12 months. The third would be being 18 years of age or older. And 4, a current resident of the United States. 2/3 of the sample were female. The ages ranged from 18 to 59. Renewals ranged from 1 to 6 in the length of the relationship, and relationship length ranged from 1 to 300 months. The survey asked for a timeline of the relationship, current perceptions, and general experience. Relational maintenance strategy was used to assess the relational maintenance behaviors. It asked participants to rate relational certainty on a 6-point scale and communicative aggression and conflict ineffectiveness on a scale from never to all the time. Participants reported total length of their relationship and the number of renewals and the dates of those events. They assessed relational stability in 3 ways. By saying statements that described the 3 stability groups, the likelihood of future transitions, and short sets of quantitative items, assessing their perceived relational stability on a 7-point scale. Here are the results. So the stable group reported the most satisfaction, investment, and commitment, as well as the lowest quality of alternatives, whereas the dissolved group reported the least amount of satisfaction. This goes and supports hypothesis 1, which was basically saying that the more invested you are into the relationship, the more satisfaction you're going to see of it. Then for on and off relationships, they reported the least satisfaction as well as the highest quality of alternatives. So they were more likely to leave, which is true because on and off again relationships, they left and then they came back. So for self and partner uncertainty, the stable group reported the least uncertainty, but no differences were between the dissolved and cycling group, which means hypothesis 3 was partially supported. Relational maintenance, the cycling group reported greater relational maintenance than the dissolved group, but less relational maintenance than the stable group. And that was supported. Hypothesis 2 was supported. Although the dissolved group reported the most aggression in cycling, then the stable groups, together or not together, did not differ. Thus, hypothesis 5 was supported and hypothesis 4 was partially supported. On and off characteristics demonstrated that lingering feelings, relationship improvement, and relational stress all varied by perceived stability groups. Comparisons for relationship improvement supported hypothesis A in that the stable group reported the highest improvement, followed by the cycling groups. The study indicated that the number of renewals, ratio of relationship length versus number of renewals, and the ratio of time together versus apart differentiated by perceived stability groups. Satisfaction quality of alternatives were significantly related to perceived stability, but investment size was not. Ratio of time together versus ratio of time apart was not significantly related to perceived stability. So with all of this being said, it is saying that perceived stability is associated with a bunch of different factors. And in on and off relationships, the perceived stability was generally brought by relational maintenance and that they had lingering feelings. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say, and this is